Michael, a good performance, but that won't take away the disappointment. They say you learn more from your defeats than your wins, but if Stoke continue to play like that, they'll surely win more of the games left for the rest of the season.
Well, that's certainly what we would hope. We're pleased with the level of performance, but we're disappointed to lose the game. Obviously there's a couple of brilliant goals in there from them that won them the game. We scored 2 very good goals ourselves. We're disappointed with the second goal in the game. We know that we could have done better, but there was a lot of things for us to be positive. I think you saw that the atmosphere in the stadium was terrific as well. I thought supporters were brilliant on Saturday. I think they appreciated how the team played, and it was more, I suppose, akin to what we were sort of displaying in the earlier part of the season before we were hit with a number of injuries. But look, we just got to continue to look to improve as a team. That's the most important thing. We've 20 games left, and we've got to try and win as many of those games as possible.
You'll be looking for a quick reaction when you play Coventry, and they've been one of the surprise packages this season. They lost to Queen's Park Rangers on Saturday, and by all accounts dominated the first half and were just beaten by quality in the final third. So what are you expecting tomorrow?
Same, good team, good footballing team. I think, obviously last season they adapted to coming up to the Championship and did well. They had to fight towards the end of the season to maintain their Championship status. But I think, again, they've added players that have improved them. I think they've some players in their squad who've now had the experience of playing in the Championship and look, at this level, look very good players at this level as well. So I think we anticipate a tough game. There's no doubt about that. They are a footballing side, so that'll be a good game. They want to get the ball down and play like ourselves, and so it's a game we can look forward to. Last season we played them at Birmingham in an empty stadium. It was a little bit surreal. So we look forward to going there back at home in their stadium again. So it has all the makings of a good game.
With the freshening up of the squad, you've added pace, youth and undoubted quality. And with that extra competition for places, everyone's going to have to raise the game. But more importantly, they're going to have to get up to the pace and the speed that you showed on Saturday. Is that going to be tough for those returning from injury to do that straight away?
Well, possibly straight away. But, that's what we've tried to build here. Since we came in, we've consistently tried to improve the quality of player that we have at the club. We've brought down the age of the squad from certainly the squad that we inherited. Whether you bring that players in with those qualities on a permanent basis, whether you bring them in on a loan basis, you're consistently just trying to find the right answer to improve your squad all the time. But I think the game for me is about the quality of play, but equally you've got to play with speed and have speed in your team. And I think the best teams in this league and obviously in the league above demonstrate that as well. So yeah, we've consistently worked hard on the system. We've tweaked it a little bit from time to time. But yeah, I think it's necessary that those players who come back have got to hit the ground running. They've been out for a period of time, and they got to, display the form that they showed prior to the injury, which, both, if you look at particularly Sawyers and Powell, they were both having significant contributions to our season before they got injured. So, hopefully they can come back and have the same impact.
You've got so many more options now, Michael. You've got Baker, who showed his quality technically and physically. Branchich, who's back, and we all know about his quality on the ball. You've got Brown running his socks off. DiMaggio showing great pace and trickery. And then you've got Campbell and Fletcher plus Bidace who can come along. It must be a really nice problem to have now rather than be scratching around trying to get a team out.
Yeah, it is. Look, sometimes you can have too many options, and we don't want to overload the squad unnecessarily. Look, we've obviously let players go as well, and there may be one or two other players that will leave before the end of the window because of the game time situation that they want to be playing. I totally understand that. But, those players have to have given us more. If you don't let players go who are having, major contributions to your season or playing extremely well. So, we have competition for places here. We're trying to build a squad that can challenge to go to the Premier League. So, with that comes real competition, and the players have to be ready for that. They have to be able to deal with that, which means that when they're out of the team, they've got to fight hard to try and get back into the team. And when they're in the team, they've got to play at a level which keeps them in the team. And, that's basically the requirement of all the players in the group. I look at, people, particularly like Tom Ince is a very good example. He's trained extremely well. When he was out of the team, he's trained extremely well, and he's now got the opportunity where he's back in the team. And Josh Timon is a good example of that. Over the past 12 to 18 months, from a player that was very much on the, when we came to the club, particularly on the outside of things, but he just got his head down. He's worked well. I think he's had a terrific season. He signed a new contract, and that's the attitude that we need to see from all the players in the club.
2 matches in 3 days, though. You may well have to rotate certain players because of the physical aspects. How have you come through the injuries on the weekend? Was there any additional knocks?
There's no additional knocks, no. We just got to see whether Wilmot will be available again. He's did a little bit on the grass today. Maybe it's a little bit soon for him. Powell has trained, so we just got to see whether it's right to involve him. And obviously he's been out for a while, so we just got to manage that from his perspective as well. We don't want to rush him back too early. And the other injuries are coming along. Obviously Sawyers is still a little bit away, but the squad gets stronger, and we didn't add to that. Thankfully, we didn't pick up any knocks on Saturday that are keeping players out. DiMaggio come off with a bit of a knock, but he's fine. And
Jordan Thompson, is Jordan doing okay?
Yeah, Jordan's good. He's back, he's training. He's probably a little bit unlucky, Jordan, because he was back and then he had COVID. And unfortunately, that kept him out for another week to 10 days when he would probably have been back involved and probably would have got the opportunity to play. So, yeah, Jordan's back. And again, he's a player that we know adds a lot to the team and to the squad. And it's great to have him back as well.
You were very honest and open regarding Danny Bart's departure, and equally so after the match about Adam Davis. And that's greatly appreciated as much by the fans as by myself, because if they know exactly what the situation is, they'll always get behind the team, as you mentioned. But given the fact that FFP is still a problem for the football club, how pleased are you with how the transfer window's gone so far? Because it looks on paper and on the pitch like you've done some really good business.
Yeah, we're very pleased. It's been challenging. We've done a lot of work leading into this. Recruitment is a constant process, really. It's not you don't sort of start 2 weeks before January and think, right, we need to get some players. You're always looking and evaluating your squad. You're looking at the minutes of the people play. You look at the people in your building, what they contribute, and what you feel you need and what's out there. So this window is challenging, but as I said previously, all the windows have been similar. What we take off the wage bill, we're able to reinvest into the team. And that was a factor in obviously the decision we made with Adam. We felt that, with Joe coming back and Jack in the team, did we need to have a goalkeeper possibly not playing on the salary that he was on? And could we use that in a more efficient and better way towards improving the team? And it wasn't a reflection really on Adam as a goalkeeper. I think Adam, obviously, I gave him his game time here at Stoke. He hadn't played until I took him in, and he's obviously played a number of games. He was a bit unlucky with injuries a couple of times at key moments, but he was a player that was very keen to explore the opportunity to go to Sheffield United. He didn't feel that longer term he would be the number one here, and I respect the decision that he's made, but equally I had to make that decision for the benefit of the team as well.
Have you managed to conclude your negotiations with Frankie Fielding, or are they still ongoing?
Yeah, well, Frankie's under contract here until the end of January, and the plan is for us to extend that to the end of the season. So we don't envisage any problems there. Frankie's a great boy. First of all, he's a good character. He's an experienced goalkeeper. I think he's a good goalkeeper to have around Joe Bursick as well, because Frankie, as a young goalkeeper, was an England under-21 goalkeeper. So he'd be able to pass on a lot of his experiences through his career to Joe Bursick as well. And we hope to get that concluded very soon.
And lastly from me, you've talked about FFP and having to reinvest, the salaries of players that have gone out. Do you envisage there being any more outs, loans or full-time? And that might help you?
Yeah, of course. We have players on the periphery of our team, and at the end of the day, players can only leave if someone wants to take them. That's ultimately the process. And if there's situations that arise that we feel, if someone left, whether that's on a permanent or a temporary basis, and that allows us to bring someone else in that we feel will improve the squad, we'll try to do it if the financial parameters allow us to do it. we look at doing that, and that's, you know, that approach hasn't changed. You know, we've done that in every window, and we'll continue to do so. So yeah, we work. I mean, I think we've got possibly just a week before the end of the window, is it? And we may get, it may be a busy week. We may get inquiries for some of our players, and equally that may allow us to look at certain areas of the pitch where we, or the squad rather, where we feel we can, you know, improve it even further.
Thank you, Michael. Good luck.
Thanks, Angela.
Michael, obviously, you're going to the game on a high, really, despite the result, particularly the desire, obviously the commitment, and that's something really you would want to take into most games all the while, as well as the performance, of course. But certainly you showed all of those attributes on Saturday, didn't you?
Well, yeah, look, I don't think we've ever had an issue this season with commitment in a game. I would never be able to come for a game and say the players weren't committed. At times, our performances maybe have not matched the level consistently that we would like. You know, obviously we were disappointed previously with elements of our performance in the previous two home games with 2 narrow defeats. So it was very good for us to be able to play like that, you know, against, for me, the top team in the league, and you know, show what we showed. But you know, the desire and the commitment has always been there, but at times, you know, the quality hasn't been at the level. But I think we saw that we were able to go and demonstrate our quality, you know, throughout the 90 minutes on Saturday.
Certainly you come up against a side that most people may be surprised, maybe not you yourself, because you already alluded to they are a good footballing side and they've returned to their former home. Will that give them any advantage, Michael, or doesn't it really? They've returned to the former home. They've obviously got the crowds in, their own crowd in behind them. Will that give them any sort of lift in terms of when they face you?
I think it's always better to be playing. I've never experienced that as a manager where you're playing in someone else's stadium for a period of time. So I think, look, Coventry's a club that I was at as a player, so I know the club. It's a great club, and you know, when I was there, it was Highfield Road, but they've obviously moved to the new stadium. I think it's important for them as a club that they've got their roots back there again. Mark Robbins has been in that position for a long time. I think he's the second longest serving manager in the league. So, you know, that's what you need to get that stability in a club. And bit by bit, he's been able to improve the quality of his team. Whether that's, you know, I think they've not spent loads of money, but I think they've had to find players. They've given players an opportunity, possibly, who've left bigger clubs and they've come to Coventry and done well. Some of them obviously have been involved in, you know, their promotion through the divisions and to now be at championship level. And a number of those players, I think, are proving themselves to be very, very capable championship players. So yeah, it'll be a tough game, but it's, you know, by all accounts, I've been in the stadium once to watch a game when I was an international manager. I enjoyed the stadium. I thought it was a good atmosphere in the stadium. So we'll go there and we look forward to the game.
They look a well-balanced unit, don't they, really? There's not any one certain player, because they have proved they can score goals from all areas. And I suppose really that's one of the factors that they've been successful so far this season.
Yeah, like, you know, they've used the loan market well. Similar to ourselves, they've tried to bring players in from Premier League clubs, and some of those players have done well and are getting on the score sheet. So I think what they have is a consistency in terms of their system, and they have a consistency in terms of their squad, and you know, equally they've added to their squad in this window. You know, Bidwell coming in on the left hand side, who's a very experienced, capable championship player as well. So yeah, we know what to expect. It'll be a tough game, but as I say, it's a game that we believe we can win.
Finally, from me, Michael, obviously, is it necessary that you want to use people like Nick Powell and give them some sort of game time, or do you still be careful when you introduce them into the first team action? You've got to possibly think about maybe giving those players that are currently out of action get a game time in the under-23s or whatever.
Well, look, the most important thing is that we're not giving them minutes just for the sake of giving them minutes. They have to be able to come on the pitch and contribute, or they have to be ready to contribute. So that's the most important thing. Whether we feel we need to drop them into a 23s game to help that, we will see. But the schedule is very difficult to blend in with that. We have, you know, 1 or 2 players who will play in the 23s tonight. Some of the younger players will play who've been training around the first team as well. The most important thing is that they're ready to play, and we won't do that. We won't put them on the pitch to jeopardise the result just to give them minutes. The most important thing is that the decisions we make are based on obviously trying to win the game.